good.
Okay, so first of all, we're doing this via Restream and we are going on LinkedIn Live. I was going to ask you, you just had a meeting right now or somewhere else. So where was that meeting? And
It's on.
thirdly, have you heard that Skype has shut down? Go for it.
Sorry.
Oh, you got another call.
And that was on WhatsApp.
Oh, that's on WhatsApp. My God. Which meeting provider were you blessing with your presence right now?
Google Meet.
Google Meet. Acha. Okay.
I
So
think
it's
you
so
have the combination of all those, except the one we're going to talk about now.
yeah, no, I just remembered. So, for those uninitiated poor souls who have joined in on a Monday afternoon post lunch, wondering why we are yapping on like this, Skype has decided to shut its doors, and it's been quite a ride. I think it started in 2003 by some Estonians. Did you know that? Some Estonians started Skype, then it got bought over by eBay, first of all. After it got bought over by eBay, then I think Andreessen Horowitz put in money there and got 65% of the stake. Then it moved to, then Microsoft bought it in order to replace it. So Andreessen Horowitz got out of it. Microsoft bought it to replace their Microsoft Live Messenger, I think, and one more product which I forget. And then Microsoft continued with it and now taking down. So that's the story. I think 20 years. What are your thoughts on? Have you used Skype, by the way?
I have in the very early days when it was still a personal connect sort of a tool. But I
Yeah,
think Skype has mainly been used for the international calls, and that is something that it had been started for. But during all these acquisitions and the transformation, Skype somewhere lost its USP of why it had been created, why it had been founded in the first place, and what it ended up being. And I think that is one of the reasons that they were not able to bank on the COVID wave that Skype could have, really boomed at the time. And
yeah.
that's one of the reasons
Why,
that we
why
are here discussing this topic.
why do you think it didn't work during COVID? Because that's when Zoom took off and became the most valuable company in the world for a while. So why do you think Skype, something that was deeply entrenched in the market, didn't work? I really don't know whether I have a complete answer to that, but I would love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's more of two-faced. First is Skype could not really understand or establish its USP. Was it more of a personal connect tool or was it a business connect tool? So
Hmm.
none of those features. For example, if you look at Zoom, it is clearly a business connect tool. No one is going to use Zoom for a face-to-face kind of a thing, right? Or there is Microsoft Teams that again being owned by Microsoft has been properly positioned as a business communication tool. Now at the
Yes.
same time, if you look at Skype, it neither became a personal tool because at the same time WhatsApp came into the picture, and
Hmm.
WhatsApp was very easy to use. It had a lot of network effect. The entire community, your entire everybody in the picture was on WhatsApp, which is something that Skype never could establish itself in that market through UI UX, through your features, whatever you might want to call it. Plus I
Yeah.
think yeah, and so this was one of the major reasons because these two tools were already well positioned in their niche markets for
Hmm.
and when COVID came into the picture, the business people immediately went to either Teams. For example, for B2B, the Teams was a big thing. For your others, Zoom and Google Meet, they became the go-to tools. And for your personal communication, WhatsApp was already there, and the countries that could not use WhatsApp went to other platforms. Somehow, Skype lost even in those countries where WhatsApp is banned, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even go heavy in those countries. Even if it had just gone heavy in those countries,
Yes.
Middle East countries and China and all of that, it would have boomed like anything.
I think the most interesting aspect about Skype's demise is connected. It's like they say, "Oh, how do you go bankrupt? You go bankrupt very slowly, and then suddenly." So that's, I think, Ernest Hemingway. I'm butchering Ernest Hemingway as I say it. So the demise is very slow and then it's sudden. So I think that's what's happened to Skype. I think the most critical aspect about Skype is that I just met a gentleman right now. I'm in Gujarat. I'm in Ahmedabad, and he said that we used to talk to people within Ahmedabad, and I don't know why people were using it for international calls way back in the early 2000s. So I said, "Wow, that's because you're an enterprising Gujarati," is all I could say to him, because I think that, as you correctly said, it was kind of nominated for, and I certainly felt that it was doing its job. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the things that it was doing its job really good at with was audio even before video started. So we used to look at it as a startup which was trying to save costs. What we used to try to figure out is how to utilize something like Skype, and it was really really useful for
Yeah.
us. And then the paid thing came, but I believe there are two aspects which I would love to bring out from a marketing or storytelling perspective. Firstly, there was no story to Skype. So if I look at WhatsApp, the story is embedded in, because it is already a personal networking thing. Zoom, I think, attracted a new generation of users, which
Mm.
Skype had lost out on. So when Zoom happened with the pandemic, it just attracted the millennials and the younger millennials and the Gen Zers in a much stronger way than what Skype could do. I think the Microsoft Teams was something which Microsoft focused on much more because they wanted to build it out for work, and therefore it started giving stepmotherly treatment towards Skype. So Skype suffered from a lack of love, is what I would say, in terms of the Microsoft thing. And I think that Skype also suffered from two things which I normally talk about in class. One is first mover disadvantage, right? So it was one of the first movers, and I think the disadvantage was that it became roadkill for people who could connect for beyond the tech. I think that that certainly was an issue. And I think timing, I think Skype has never got its timing right. So I don't know whether it is the founding team or the management team, but they just didn't know how to ride waves. I think it's really critical once you have the tech piece in, that you have to ride waves really, really well. What do you think?
You have to evolve with the kind of requirement that the users have. For example, Skype already was a very big name in the market. Now imagine if Skype had built the kind of interface that WhatsApp has built. WhatsApp
Yeah,
might not even have survived for a
yeah,
bit,
I
right?
agree.
Everybody was there on Skype. It was easy to connect with Skype. You did not have to be particularly on Skype, right? You could connect with anybody over Skype, even if they were not connected to you, like Meta requires you to be.
Yeah.
Second, a very big problem that I have seen across all of Microsoft's tools, maybe except apart from LinkedIn, they try to monetize very quickly. Now,
Ah,
team, yeah, this was a problem with Skype. Also, it was working on a P2P interface that was really cool, right? I understand. I mean, the connectivity was great. Then they had to jump to the cloud network. Now, if you're jumping there, you have to understand that you will face connectivity issues, which people were facing, which was one of the major reasons that people started dropping off from Skype, because there were a lot of challenges that they were facing. Secondly, Microsoft did not help Skype evolve through its interface in such a way that the moment monetization happened, you started seeing random contacts coming on Skype. You could not
true.
find your own network on Skype. And why do you use a social media network? Any kind of connectivity network. You want to connect with people you know. So it should be easy to see them on the margin. So I
Yes.
think these are the reasons that Skype lost, and there is also this fact that Microsoft had not at all been focusing on Skype. Their major focus was always on Teams, which was, I think, pretty stupid, because if they had kept Teams only for their business segment and Skype only for their personal segment, they could have built both of these brands separately, and both of them would have flourished very well, especially now considering the kind of backlash that WhatsApp had been facing due to
Yeah.
encryption and
Yeah.
privacy policies and all.
Beautiful. I love that point, especially about the monetizing too early. It just tells me that companies like Google, maybe forget the YouTube aspect of it, Google and Microsoft, because they're old world. In that sense, in this age of the internet, they're old world. They don't know social networking, or they don't understand how the this business model actually works. I think that that really bit Skype in the ass, if I have to say. And the weird thing about Skype, did you know that how the word Skype came through? Maybe we can end with that. Skype came through Sky, Sky is the limit, and peer to peer. So the
Oh.
two, so it was Skyper, by the way, first of all, and then it became shortened to Skype. And a lot of people actually used to call it Skype earlier on because they didn't know how to pronounce it. But I just love to end with this one. Like I feel nostalgic, and I suddenly realized, my God, if I'm feeling nostalgic about something that I was chuffed about, like, ooh, I'm so cutting edge because I'm using Skype, I suddenly realize how old I am, Janvi. Maybe I should be put out to pasture like Skype is being put out to pasture. I don't know. I don't know. That's a dark thought on a Monday morning, but that's what Skype is making me feel. I don't know. What? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, the last thought would be just this, taking away from the dark dark point.
Okay.
Any tool that has to evolve, it has to evolve, right? The
Yeah.
companies really need to make sure that if they have come up with something, they shouldn't bring it as a short game. Don't let your
Yeah.
own products cannibalize your own products.
Yeah.
Every product in this market has its own place. Find its correct positioning and then position it accordingly in the market. I am
Yeah.
damn sure you can find some really good target audience that would adhere to your product like anything.
Absolutely. Well, awesome and happy the rest of the week to you guys. As January and I say goodbye to you, and thank you Skype for making our lives kind of worthwhile while you were around.
Yeah, miss you, Skype.
Bye.